Hello and welcome to another Game Nexus arcade video. Today we're going to be taking yet another look at Virtua Fighter, released in 1993 on the Sega Model 1 arcade hardware. And if you had seen my last Game Nexus arcade video, I had made mention that after I did the gameplay of Jackie, I decided to give Sarah another try, and had quite a surprising result at the very end. But if you didn't see that video, I'm not going to spoil what happened in this one for you. But as I had said in the last video, the actual emulation of Virtua Fighter at this point in time has actually been improved, and now that glitch that I mentioned in my earlier Game Nexus arcade videos of this game, where like anything that'd be attached to a character's head, like the ponytail on Sarah Bryant, the little strings on the back of Kage's mask, being on the ground and being like messed up polygons, in any modern version of MAME, like I believe newer than April or May, that glitch no longer happens. So now it's pretty close to being arcade perfect. I don't know if it's like fully arcade perfect yet, but it's pretty close to it. But yeah, as I had said in my other video, the quick run through here is that the arcade version was released in Europe and Japan in October of 1993. Then it was released in North America on November 28th in 1993. And if you had watched my arcade videos, I mean my gameplay videos of the Sega Saturn and 32X videos, I went a bit more in depth with the actual home ports. And I've said it many times before, but I just love how this game looks, and especially this version, how it plays. Because the thing is the home versions both look alright, and at least the 32X version plays pretty good. The Saturn version has a bit of gameplay problems, if you ask me. But, yeah, this is, in my opinion, the ideal way to play this game. And yeah, as I had mentioned earlier, that glitch used to be a bit jarring, and it would have a problem with Kage's like mask, where those two little tails on the end would like just not be there, and it would just he would not have them, and it would just be like random like messed up polygons. But now MAME actually emulates it pretty well. But of course, I have no need for that, because as you saw in the beginning of my first video and my closer look video, I actually have the real PCB, which, considering this game was made in 1993, it's actually still fully functional. So like a 27-year-old arcade board is still fully working. It just shows you how well they made stuff back then. And now Pai-chan was one of the characters. I lost a couple times to her, but as you can see, with the clock only being up to like 4 minutes, it wasn't too many times. The next characters I actually lost a couple times to as well, but not really that bad. But this isn't like one of my absolute best gameplays. It's still a pretty good version. Now, just for fun, I'll read you the little blurb they have about development of Virtua Fighter on Wikipedia. Virtua Fighter was created using hardware developed by aerospace technology firm Lockheed Martin, known as General Electric Aerospace at the time, dubbed the Model 1. According to Sega's Japanese publicity manager, Kurokawa, we deliberately didn't publicize all the fighting moves at the same time, but instead revealed them to gamers one at a time, which by means of the Japanese game press. Virtua Fighter was a launch game for the Sega Saturn and served as a pack-in in North America. Its Sega 32X version was developed by the same team responsible for the Genesis port of Virtual Racing. So, yeah, basically it's the same team developed that on the same hardware, but of course with the use of the 32X. Now, the thing with Virtua Fighter Remix, they like to say that it has higher polygon models, but the thing is, when you really look at the models in Virtua Fighter Remix, they look good because of the texture mapping, but the models themselves, if you look at like some of the joints and the seams and stuff, they look a bit like, the only word to describe it is kind of rustic, so they don't look as great as some people claim. Now, as far as the reviews of Virtua Fighter, in an early preview of the arcade game, the October 1993 issue of EGM hailed Virtua Fighter as a demonstration of just how far video games have come in the last 8 years. EGM made particular note of the advanced graphics, how the camera moves along different axes depending on your fighter's location, the use of multiple viewpoints and the instant replay, the high quality of the gameplay, and the smoothness and realism of the animation. In Japan, Game Machine listed Virtua Fighter on their January 1st, 1994 issue as being the most successful upright arcade unit of the year. Game Machine also listed the game on their February 5th, 1994 as being the most successful table arcade unit of the year. It went on to be one of the highest grossing arcade games of all time in Japan. The console port, which was nearly identical to the arcade game, sold nearly 1-to-1 ratio with the Sega Saturn during the Japanese launch. And of course, unlike here, they didn't need to pack it in the game, people would just buy it. They go on about the Sega Saturn version, but that's really not what we're here to cover in this video. I'm really just focusing on the arcade version. As I'd mentioned earlier, if you wanted to see more about the console versions, you can see that video. And as you can see there, it was actually kind of funny. Had he not been defeated when I landed on him there, I would have ringed out. And the most hilarious thing about this video, a few of the characters, I actually count 1, 2, 3 characters, I lost a little bit to. But the character who I just about always lose to, Akira Yuki, I didn't lose to him once. And for some reason, when that actually happened and I was playing this, I laughed really hard because the AI in this game, a little thing I've nicknamed over the years Ring Out AI, when you get close to the edge of the ring, the AI will go crazy to knock you out of the ring. And it always bothers me because it's like, I'll try that a little bit, but I won't go out of my way like the AI tends to. And I thought it was funny, like, the first time, it's like, I was gonna defeat him anyway, but he got kicked out of the ring. And now here you will finally see me defeating Dural on an actual video. Which, I was surprised that this happened, because as you view this footage, you will actually see that, it's not like I'm completely dominating Dural and I get 3 matches in a row. It's kind of, how do I want to say it, give or take, if you will. And the funny thing is, with, Virtua Fighter, Virtua Fighter 2, Virtua Fighter Remix, Virtua Fighter 3, Virtua Fighter 3 Team Battle, Virtua Fighter 4, Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution, Virtua Fighter 4 Final Tuned, Virtua Fighter 5, Virtua Fighter 5R, and Virtua Fighter 5R, Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown, Dural has always been the extra boss at the end. And the cool part about this that I think is your score or your speed doesn't get changed by Dural. You can literally take like forever to get through this match, and the time or the score that you achieve, depending on the game you're playing, will always be the same, as Dural has no bearing on how you did in the game. She's just kind of, as it says, the bonus stage. The little extra bit at the end that you can try your best at this character who has like moves from all of the characters built into one. And unlike any of the other battles, which a typical Virtua Fighter machine will have best of 3 battles, Dural is always best of like 3 battles you have to win. And as you can see, I actually won. And of course, the only difference there is, instead of seeing you lose, you see you won. So in other words, it's kind of one of those things, now you have bragging rights, you beat Dural. Of course, unless your friends were there to see it, you really have no way of proving what had happened. But it's kind of cool to actually be able to have done that. And I can say Dural isn't the hardest, but she can just be annoying at times because she does a lot of different crazy moves at you. And of course, after you see me enter my name, you'll see that little replay that shows how I beat Akira, which is a little bit longer in this gameplay. But if nobody else had played this arcade machine, it will display this same replay, but it'll actually be in the first stage instead of being an Akira stage on every other time it plays it for some reason. That's just how the board works. But yeah, this has been another Game Nexus arcade video. I highly recommend playing Virtua Fighter. It's a great game, the arcade version especially, and I shall see you later. Bye.